Hi everyone, Brian Kral here. Today I am coming at you from the Grand Palace in Thailand to bring you a special video on a very special topic that everyone is in pursuit of, and that is happiness. And the whole concept of happiness, like what is happiness? People are in this pursuit of happiness, but yet no one seems to be able to get it and just, be able to grasp it and attain it. And no one seems to know what it even is. In fact, it's interesting that the pursuit of happiness was the mission statement for America, the country that leads the world, yet it was originally supposed to be the pursuit of wealth. But then they found that that was probably superficial and materialistic, which it is, and they changed it to happiness, but yet it didn't really change in people's minds to happiness. It continued to be wealth, and people in the world in general tend to equate wealth with happiness, right? And also materialism and the amount of possessions that you have with happiness. So people are really out there hoarding, thinking that if they hoard enough goods that they're going to become happy. Yet they never are. What they're really doing is just amassing a giant black hole in which they're filling with stuff, and it's just causing it to increase in gravity more and more and need to be fed more and more, right? And everyone is trying to get a better job with better pay so they can get more stuff and live more expensive, luxurious lifestyles, but no one's ever happy with that. Whenever they get something that they want, that they think is going to make them happy, they end up maybe happy for a moment, but pretty soon they end up realizing that now that they don't need that thing anymore or want that thing anymore, they're not happy with it, right? It becomes part of their base threshold of existence that they are unhappy with, and they start looking at the next thing that they can go to try to get and become happy with, right? It just is this never-ending climb of just, getting the next thing, and it turns into a vicious circle, okay? So hoarding possessions and amassing material goods or getting greater levels of pay and living more and more luxurious lifestyles is not the way to become happy. I mean, and think about it. Even the most prosperous people out there, like the guy who built this glorious, luxurious, majestic palace, do you think that he was happy because of his wealth? No, because he found that when he built up this palace for himself, he wasn't even happy with it. It didn't make him happy, right? And what he wanted to do instead after that was to build temples that were outside of it and to start building his country up with it, right? And I'm sure that he lived well and in prosperity and was happy, largely, right? At least somewhat, or maybe for the most part, but it certainly wasn't his possessions that made him happy. Otherwise, he wouldn't have felt the need to hoard all of these material goods and build up this giant luxurious palace and then find that it wasn't enough for him and build temples that were outside of it. And it's common among these kings and princes and emperors and such. You look at them and what their wealth really means to them, and the fact that, they spend a lot of their wealth on material goods and on luxury, but when you look at how they enjoyed that luxury and those material goods, you'll find that they actually didn't. If you're enjoying listening to what I have to say, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you feel I'm adding value to your life, you can also tip me at the PayPal link below in proportion to the amount of value added. Your support will help me be able to continue this work because the oppressive fascists at YouTube are against this kind of content and actively trying to suppress it. People who live at those highest levels are not any happier than the people who live at lower levels. I mean, even just look at the upper classes of America and Europe. People who have good jobs and get paid well and have good lives, right? None of them are any happier or less miserable than the people in the lower classes. They both have the same amount of problems and the same amount of happiness, right? Because happiness does not come from how luxurious your life is or how many material goods you have. Okay, so you need to really break free of that vicious circle of equating materialism and hoarding and career climbing with happiness. Now, that is not to say that you shouldn't have goals for yourself to live a better life. I mean, sure, getting paid better gives you the ability to live better, and that's important. It's important because you can afford healthier food, you can afford a healthier lifestyle, you can afford to be more active and do more things that you want and gain more life experiences. You can afford personal development training like what I offer to help better yourself as a person and become self-actualized. You can afford things that make your life easier, such as a car, a nice house with appliances and such. You know, there's lots of things that wealth will afford you to make your life better with. But that does not mean that you're going to be any happier. It just means that you're going to be living a life that is somewhat easier in those ways. It's going to mean that you have the ability to better yourself. It means that you have the ability to do more things that you want. But at the end of the day, that does not equate to happiness. I mean, sure, it can equate to self-actualization in those ways, but happiness is a different thing from all of that. Understand? Happiness comes from your own mindset and your own decision to feel good about yourself and who you are and your life and what it is. And this is why a lot of poor people who cannot afford to pursue happiness through wealth, attainment, and such choose simply to just feel good about themselves and their life and just be happy with it, right? You can create these positive feelings that are the feelings that cause you to be happy, right? Happiness is really an abstract concept, right? It is not a definitive thing that you can attain, you can grab at, right? It is what is called in neurolinguistic programming a nominalization, right? It is not a tangible item that you can grab and put into a bucket, right? And then have and take with you. No, it is an abstract concept, something that takes contemplation, meditation, and mindfulness to really wrap your mind around. It is a state of consciousness and a state of mind and state of being that you have to actually make a conscious decision to step into, and it is also something that will cause a personal transformation in yourself, because when you are choosing to be happy with yourself and your life, you become more positive, which causes you to become more euphoric and just feel good all the time, which causes you to actually function better as a human being. And that is really what self-actualization is about. I mean, sure, self-actualization is about attaining your goals and becoming the person you want to be, but then actually using the power of your mind to step into the mindset that you want to be in, where you're happy with yourself and your life, is the zenith of self-actualization. That is what really causes you to reach the height of it. And many people find that this is a very spiritual state as well. But if you're not a spiritual person, if you're just an intellectual or philosophical person, you know, you don't have to have a spiritual side either. But you still have to practice some sort of meditation or contemplation in order to attain this state of mind and experience this self-transformation. Okay? So I hope that this has been of help to you from the Grand Palace in Bangkok, Thailand. I am Brian Kral.
That concludes this video. Thanks for listening. I hope I mansplained that good enough for you. If you like what you heard, please click the like button. And if you feel you gained some value from this video and would like to give some back, please do so with the PayPal link below, because your support helps fund me doing this work and fight the good fight for men like you. If you are ready to take the red pill and wake up from the matrix, well then, I have the perfect book for you. The Bible of Esoteric Knowledge is a super concise, dense, info-packed philosophy textbook, written in the same verse format as the Bible, but combining multiple different, highly esoteric philosophies such as Taoism, Hinduism, Buddhism, shamanism, ancient paganism, and a special balance between theoretical physics and metaphysics, along with some special bonus info on the cryptic secrets of sexuality and death. This book will stimulate your intellectual philosopher's mind like no other, especially since it's a lot shorter and easier to read than most philosophy books made up entirely of run-on sentences and never-ending paragraphs, and, you know, can be quite boring and exhaustive. Full of all the most fascinating mystical secrets of the universe, gratify your inner geek and quench your thirst for meaning with the Bible of Esoteric Knowledge. Get your copy at the link below for a special sale price today. Enlightenment has never been so easy.